Good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1367. As we look ahead to the new year, it is the final day of 2024. I used to think, oh my God, I can't believe the year is over. I don't think like that anymore. It's like, oh my God, the weekend went by so fast. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older. I don't know if it's working at home for myself. Time just is weird. It's not the same as clocking in a 9 to 5. But I don't think like, oh my God, the year went so fast. It didn't. I was expecting it to be December 31st when I woke up. Yesterday talked a little bit about 2024 and how my business was running in 2024. Did make some changes in 2024 with my business, and it was kind of just not out of necessity, and that's kind of like where I love to be. The changes I want to make in 2025 is just to build on the momentum that I had in 2024. And fortunately, it's not out of I need more sales. We always need more sales. Always need more sales. But sales were great in 2024. And I think I can take a look. Yesterday was a poor sales day for my numbers. Let's see. But I've been tracking this month. I want to see how I'm tracking because the first 10 days of December were just the shits. And then it really turned around. And still this month, now today's kind of a bonus day because we only had 30 days in the month of November. But going into the last day of December, my net sales up 17.5% over November. Quantity sold still up almost 4%. So those are good numbers. So my December is going to end up being a better month than November, which I think will put it. Can't remember where my November, did I write it down? Probably somewhere. But December will end up being, I think, fourth again, which would be the third straight year where December is my fourth highest sales month of the year. Happened in 2022, again last year, and probably again this year. So that's how my November is tracking. So I want to talk about 2025 and what I'm looking to do strategy wise. And I kind of just what I like about coming on and doing Hobby Evolution every morning is I can talk things out. And sometimes I have ideas, and once I start talking them out, it's like, no, that's not a good idea. And sometimes I start talking things out and I have a chat that says, no, that's not a good idea. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. That's not a good idea. Or I have the chat say, hey, why don't you try this? And I'm like, I'll try that. So that's what I love the most about Hobby Evolution and you guys and helping me out run my business. So we're talking about 2025, and I've kind of alluded to things that I may dabble in 2025. And so I want to talk about those things. And really over the last month, in the month of December, I think what I did earlier this month to alter and kind of turn around how my December was starting, like, oh, this sucks. And I think I found a good way, and it kind of changed my mind about what I wanted to do in 2025. Cause I was almost looking to like upset the apple cart, not really, but dabble in different things. And I think I've kind of, eased off of doing some of those things. And there's multiple reasons why. I'll get into it. But first, let me tell you about my eBay store. 99centcards.com. Check it out. Buy 7 or more items at regular price. You'll save 25% off at checkout. It's not just cards. I should change it here on the ticker. It's items. So it can be autographed baseballs. I think there's over 100 autographed baseballs in my eBay store. It can be jerseys. I've got some old Cubs jerseys, used Cubs jerseys that are in my eBay store that I don't wear. I've got lots. You can buy lots, 7 or more lots, and you'll save that 25% off, which, by the way, I did add some player lots last night. Roberto Clemente, Mickey Mantle, some small player lots of those. I think a 25 count player lot of Pete Rose. I did a 50 count lot of somebody. Who was the 50 count lot? Can't remember. Ken Griffey Jr. I put multiple Ken Griffey Jr. lots together. So I think altogether I did about 12 or 15 player lots in the eBay store. So I put vintage football. Sold a couple more of those yesterday. The Brian Sipe rookie, 75-cent purchase, sold for $6.75. So a couple of those sold. And then I think my next focus will be on the vintage baseball that I picked up on Saturday at the Madison Card Show. That'll be next in my listing. So putting some more singles. So there you go. Also today, I've got a different duty that I'm helping a friend out. Saved him some money on sales tax because he lives in a state that has a higher sales tax that may border my state. And he bought a whole bunch of really good stuff. We're talking high-end vintage, 360 T206 cards, including Cy Young, Ty Cobb. I think there's 33 Hall of Famers in this lot that he bought. And he paid a lot of money, but he got a great deal on it. A couple Michael Jordan rookies in 8 and a lower grade, I think a 4. What else was in there? 82 Topps football complete set. There was a 100 count lot of Gaudy Native American cards. What else? Just a bunch of stuff, just a whole bunch of stuff. Big old box. So we're heading over to, we're going to meet in Oconomowoc later this morning and give him his box of goodies. And we're going to meet at 5 Stars, 5-Star Cards, a sponsor of the Madison Card Show. They just opened up a shop 2 months ago in downtown Oconomowoc, a fun town name to say. So we're going to meet there. I haven't been to the shop yet, so it'll be my first time checking that out. So that'll be a fun get out of the house day. So I did a lot of shipping yesterday. I had, those big plastic, I forgot to take a photo, big plastic storage tubs. I had it overflowing from post-Christmas sales and into the weekend. And I bring it up and my wife's like, oh my God. And she's like, so how many orders are you down to? And I'm like, 209. Like I have this tub overflowing with packages and I still have 209, which I did whittle that down a little bit more last night, but a few sales yesterday, and it would be a lot more. I'm at 217 right now. So, but yesterday was a slower sales day. So, wouldn't hurt my feelings. Although I want to make this big push to make the most I can in 2024. But at the same time, it's like, I broke all the numbers that I wanted to break. I got November or December ended up being better than November. 2024, I reached the dollar amount that I wanted to get to. It's like a free, the last few days are kind of freebie days, but at the same time, I'm a business and I want to make money. So it's this I want to make money. I want to make sales, but I'd kind of like to have a little bit of extra time to not have to ship 217 orders. So it is a little give and take. So basically what I did yesterday was ship. What else went on yesterday? So, I slept in yesterday too. Of course you knew that because I was late. What else is going on? It's a wacky week, man. This whole Christmas to New Year's, and it comes around every year. Some years are better than others based on how the calendar falls, but it really does. And we talked about this last week where it's like, and I think I, in my stubbornness, said, it doesn't bother me that Christmas is on a Wednesday. Well, it doesn't bother me from a work standpoint, but it bothers me from a standpoint of what the fuck day is it? Like, what day is it? Yesterday, I'm going upstairs and for lunch, and my wife's at home, and she's fixing lunch, and it's like, today's such a weird day, and I'm like, it feels like Sunday, and it really did. Yesterday felt like a Sunday, and it was Monday, and it's like, what the hell day today is? It's like, when do I take the trash out? Tomorrow's New Year's, which is my trash day, but it's not going to be my trash day because it's a holiday. So it's Thursday. Thursday's going to be like, oh, it's only Wednesday because it's trash day. And no, tomorrow's Friday. Well, wait, no. So I'm really looking forward to next week when everything is like new year, new me, new year, new calendar, off to a new start. Monday is a Monday, Friday is a Friday, weekends are weekends. And I don't have to remember which day it is. What else is going on? That's about all. Did a bunch of shipping. That's all I did yesterday. Shipped. Did some listing. I did some sorting. But mostly shipping. It is. I was thinking about this. I told my wife this last night, and I'm like, my buddy Mark. You met Mark. He was at the Couch People Christmas party here live in person. He was out at the card show on Saturday, and I'm like, yeah, we'll have to, because we didn't, with the holidays, it's tough. We'll have to go out for beers this week. And so I'm like, I'm kind of slammed Monday, and I'm thinking to myself, well, we can Tuesday. I'm not doing an auction, no live show on Tuesday night. We'll go to the bar on Tuesday night, and then I'm like, no, Tuesday's New Year's Eve. I am not leaving the house on New Year's. So we do not have New Year's plans. I think, Mark Marinello just asked that. So let's just flash this on the screen before we get up. Mark says, what are your plans for New Year's? We're doing the usual falling asleep on the couch, and I'm doing the same. Yes, so I am doing the same as Mark Marinello. I'll be in bed by 10. No plans. My wife doesn't watch anything. Like, I like to watch the New Year's stuff. My wife's can do without it. But staying up till midnight is not in the equation. I'll probably have a few beers, but I'll have a few beers from the comfort of my own couch. Won't be leaving the house. So yeah, no plans for New Year's. Of course, back in your 20s, New Year's was a big thing. I got drunk for the first time on New Year's when I was not of legal age. I remember my parents quit drinking when I was in grade school. Yeah, probably grade school, like 4th, 5th grade, somewhere around there. They were drinking a little too much. And so they quit drinking. And so my parents didn't drink from like the time I was in 4th, 5th grade until like I got into high school. And like they just completely quit cold turkey. And they were good. Like they just didn't do things. Which I kind of get that same, like, all right, I'm not going to eat sugar. I can do without it. But if I have a candy bar, like, yeah, I'll have a candy bar, but it's not like I have to have more. Anyway, so in high school, I think I was a sophomore, maybe a junior in high school. And my parents had started like drinking again, on occasion. And so they were gonna go out to the town bar for the New Year's celebration, and I was gonna be their DD. So I must have been a junior because I had my driver's license. So I was gonna be their DD. And here's the funny thing: the local bar is like literally 2 blocks from my parents' house. But hey, after a few beers, you might need that DD. So I was their DD. Well, my buddy Jason came over on New Year's Eve, like afternoon. We're hanging out. And he's like, hey, my parents are going out. He's like, we're going to just hang out in the barn. So he lived just outside of town, like a mile out of town, on like I guess they call it a farmette, where, and I think they did farming, but it wasn't like their land. Like they just lived in the farm, but it had like barns, and they owned all of the barns and stuff, but it just, I don't know. They didn't farm the land anyway. So they had the barn, and it was the party barn. He had older siblings. Like he was the youngest of what, 3. So they had this party barn. It's like, oh, we're just gonna play ping pong and you know, watch whatever's on TV in 1998. And so I'm like, okay, and I'm like, well, I gotta DD my parents, and so I told my parents, I'm like, I'm gonna go out to Jason's for New Year's, and so we did, and this is in the land before cell phones. So I probably had to like call. I think I called the bar. Remember that? Like, I mean, you can literally prank the bar, and you probably still can. Like The Simpsons, like, is Seymour Butts there? So I think I had to take the landline because this is pre-cell phone. Cell phones existed, but nobody had them, especially in my small town. So I think I had to call because we got into the beer fridge in the party barn. And Jason's parents were cool. Like they were the cool parents. And he had older siblings. And I think those that had older siblings, like the youngest, benefited from that because, you know, the oldest, you know, the parents are probably, this is our first child and we've got to be strict and all that. And then it's hard. I'm sure it's hard being a parent. I know I'm not a parent, never was a parent, never will be a parent, but I was a kid and I know how difficult I was as the story I'm telling. So it gets easier. My guess is the restrictions are lifted as the younger parents just deal with shenanigans, right? So Jason's the youngest, so he gets away with a lot. So we start drinking some of the old Milwaukee Light that's in the fridge. And I had been to like high school parties. So I'm a junior at this point. So I'd been to like homecoming parties and, you know, my sophomore year. I don't think I went anywhere my freshman year, but sophomore year went to the senior party and all that. And, you know, I would hold the beer and it tasted like shit. And I would like, oh, and I would like choke it down and I would hold this half drank beer and, you know, any chance I could spit it out. But all of a sudden, my taste buds changed as I was a junior in high school. And this old Milwaukee Light tasted good. I'm like, hey, I want another. And I had another. I don't know how many I drank. I drank enough to make me feel like shit for 2 days. That's how many I drank. So anyway, got to a point where it's like, I can't DD anymore. And which probably after that first one. So I had to call the local bar. It was Dean's at the time. Dean's Tap, I think is what the name was. Dean's, we just called it Dean's Tap. And it's now Front Street Tap. So called Dean's Tap, and it's Mary and Wayne there. And yeah, I'm like, Mom, I had a few beers. I can't DD. And of course, my mom's like, first reaction was like, what? And then she's like, she's having a good time. She's like, okay, we'll walk home. So obviously I stayed at Jason's that night. And next morning, oh man, like drinking sucks the next day. So that was my initial New Year's partying. And of course, I did that through my 20s. And then finally it's like, fuck this. New Year's Eve sucks. So John says, Bo holding a beer sounds like my prom date holding my flesh corsage. Whoa. John's coming in hot this morning. Coming in hot. Where are we at? Let's just go to the top of the chat and get and try to forget John Keating saying flesh corsage, which by the way is a term I've never heard before. So thank you for introducing a new a new word, a new phrase to my vocabulary. Dave Richards in the house. Good morning. The Dollar Box is here. What's happening? Mr. Archer's in the house. Good morning. Boston Smoke. Good morning. JK Cards. Good morning. New Year's resolution is to watch more Hobby Evolution in 2025. Now that's a hobby. That's a New Year's resolution I can get behind. I don't do New Year's resolutions. And I think I'm sure I talk about this every year. I don't do New Year's resolutions because I do goals, but they've got to be smart. They've got to be specific and measurable and attainable and realistic. Is that right? And timely. I believe I nailed all SMART. But I like that. I can get behind that one. Watch more Hobby Evolution. John says, when are you hiring a shipping clerk? I need to. I need Mark. When's your kid available? He needs to do some shipping. Victor says, good morning. Happy New Year. Be safe out there. Working from home feels different for every holiday and especially Monday mornings. You know, it's good and bad. It's a double-edged sword because working from home Monday mornings are awesome because you don't have to wake up and go to work. You don't have to go to the office. Well, you have to go to work, but you don't have to go to the office and be stuck there. But like the holidays kind of blow because you're working on holidays. At least if you're working for yourself, you're working on holidays or probably working on holidays. But the lead up, man, like that's what I miss about working like an office job is it's certainly not enough for me to quit selling cards and going back to an office job, but it's that anticipation. And it's like Christmas Eve, like on a Tuesday, it's a half day. Ooh, I get a half day. It's like, well, if I want, I can take all day. You know, and the best part, I'm planning for Cubs convention. And it's like, I go down on, because I used to have to be strategic with my vacation time. It's like, well, I've got to wrap this vacation around a holiday so I can, get a free day and weekends and all that. Now it's like, fuck it. I'm going to go to spring training Tuesday to Tuesday because flights are cheaper. I don't have to wrap it around, and go on Friday so I can get an extra weekend. And like Cubs convention, I can go on Thursday afternoon and at the office, that'd be an extra half day I'd have to take off or full day I'd have to take off. So it's definitely a double-edged sword, and working from home and especially working for yourself, definitely better. John says, how often have you been to the storage unit? 5 or 6 times. 5 or 6 times. I do need to make another trip. I've got another carload, truckload that'll be taking over at some point this week. So I'll make another trip over there this week. And I think I'll be ready after this truckload. I think I'll be ready to, depending on temperature, because it's not temperature controlled. So if it's like 10 degrees, which I think we're due like in the next few days. So I want to really get this done soon because we're in for like a really cold snap. So the reason I haven't been there to the storage unit more is because it's winter and it's fucking cold. I don't want to go to the storage unit in the winter. Madison forecast. So it's going to get really cold Friday. So I've got a few days. Today's going to be the warmest of 34. And then it's going to be 24 the next couple days, and then 18 on Friday, 17, 18, 19. So it's going to be really fucking cold. So we'll see. Dollar Box says it was a great 2024. Looking forward to 2025. Hell yeah. And actually going back to 2025 and the storage unit, I'll talk about the storage unit and what's in store in 2025. Mark Marinello, good morning. That dude from Duryea, good morning. Best of luck in 2025. Barton, what's up? Troy says, good morning. Happy New Year. My goal is to at least see 20% growth. That's a great growth number. I like it. Red Lights in the house. Good morning. Porter is here. Good morning. Don't forget to order your eBay shipping supplies. Yes. I forgot to use my credit last quarter and was in a dark place for a while. There you go. Use that. If you have an eBay store, you get a free supply coupon. $25 if you're a basic store, $50 if you're a anchor store, or not anchor store, premium store. I'd actually used my fourth quarter coupon at the beginning of the fourth quarter because I've been using so many more bubble mailers. So I used my fourth quarter coupon on bubble mailers. And then I went to Supply Hut, and now I'm just buying my bubble mailers from Supply Hut. I'll buy some boxes, which since I've already used my fourth quarter, so tomorrow or the next day, I'll probably order boxes with my coupon. Let's see. So where are we at? Is it subscriber discount? So if you've never done it, go into your My eBay summary. It's under subscriber discounts. See details, and you click on the eBay shipping supplies. Here's what it looks like. There you go. So eBay shipping supplies, and there'll be a coupon code. Mine has been redeemed, so my coupon code is done. So here you go. So I get the $50, so you can start shopping, and so it takes you to the eBay shipping supply store. How does the eBay shipping supply store have 99.8% feedback? Because they are like the fastest shippers I've ever dealt with. Like, you order something today and you're going to get it like Thursday, and there's a holiday in between. Okay, maybe Friday. So I'll probably get, and I can't remember which boxes I used. I'll probably end up getting these boxes. 16 by 12 by 8. And how many do you get with? You get 25 for $46.57. So there you go. That uses up. I don't want to spend too much more. I think I have the 12 by 6 by 6 right now, and those are a little smaller than what I want to use. Or maybe I have these. I can't remember. Basically, I want to get a similar size to a medium flat rate box. And so if I do any, flat rate shipping, anybody know off the top of their head what that one's 8 by 8? That's 2 cubes. So I think 16 is the biggest they have, the longest they have. So yeah, 16 by 12 by 8 looks like the largest they have. So I'll just get that one. Where are we at? John says strategically is also an acceptable way of saying it. Strategically. Zach and Porter in the house. Good morning. Michael Renicky is here. Good morning. Just like Converse might be better than Conversate. Converse. Now that you've mastered vintage, you should break into TCG. No. It's a natural progression that some of us haven't been able to make. Praying for you, though. No TCG here. My duty was a little different this morning as well. Cooter and I are buyers for that T206 slot. We pay in cash. So I don't know if it's for sale. I don't know if he's building the set because he's a collector. He's a collector, and he's also got some things in the works business-wise within the hobby as well. So he built when we first met, and we've known each other now for 5 years, I think, three to 5 years. We met at the National several years ago, either 3 years ago or 5 years ago. And he was when we first met, he was building a 1955 Bowman set, which is, pretty attainable set to build. And then he built it fairly quickly. I'm like, wow. And then he's like, I'm going for the 55 top set. And then like in no time, he's like, yeah, hey, I just completed the 55 top set. I'm like, Jesus. And then he's building the 53 top set. I'm like, okay. And then he's like, I'm going to go for the 52. And I'm like, with the mantle? And he's like, oh yeah, of course, with the mantle. I'm like, Jesus. So he builds the entire 52 set. And then he's looking for the mantle. And he's looking for lower grade, obviously. And so I'm thinking like absolute beaters in one. So I'm on the lookout for him. And then he ends up buying, I think, a PSA 2.5. And I'm like, that's big. That's a big card. And I think he's working on Gaudy. And so I'm not sure if he's building. We'll talk today. And he's got a nice start. I think 360 T206. I'm not sure if he's building the set or if he's going to piece it out, grade it, and resell or what the deal is. So I'll find out later today. Let's see. Where we at? Zach says, I heard duty as well. L1C, what's up? New Year's resolution for the 5th straight year. Get organized. And see, and this is why it's your New Year's resolution for the 5th straight year. Because you're not holding yourself accountable. Like how often, 1,367 episodes, what do I keep saying? I need to get organized. And why do I not get organized? Because I'm not holding myself accountable. I'm not putting numbers. If I said, okay, I need to sort 100 cards a day or 1,000 Cubs cards a day, I want to log whatever, then I think I can do it. But I also need to get organized before I do it, because otherwise, if I say I want to log 100 Cubs cards to trading card database a day, I'm not in position to do that. I am because I've got the quantity, but I'm not because I don't have the quantity organized. And it's just 100 a day. I could grab this stack of Cubs. I've got a Cub stack somewhere. Let's just pretend there's a Cub on top. Let's just pretend all of these are Cubs. And Mark Zagunis, and it's like Mark Zagunis. And who's a Cub? Scott Sanderson and Greg Maddux and Mark Pryor. And all of a sudden it's like, God, it's taking forever. But if it was organized, and I pulled out a box last night. I was just putting some player lots together, just doing some sorting. And I've got a lot of boxes that I really didn't go through from some of the last Goodwill pallets. And I'm pulling some good stuff, and like Brady's and Jeters. And the Jeters are easy money, 50 cents a time for my local buyer. So it's like, oh, here's 50 cents, $1.50. Oh, here's a $5 stack of Jeters in this one box. And Brady's I can sell in lots. They still move pretty well. And then there were, and I think whoever donated that batch of cards was a Cubs collector, because there's been multiple boxes where there's like Cubs team sets in just a random box with other cards. And so there was like a Topps Total and a Fleer from like the early 2000s. So I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I'm sure I have these cards, but they're not in complete set order. So I can go to TCDB. I can go to 2002 Topps Total, Cubs, click, 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 click. And then there's boom. So I wish I had them a little more organized, but alas, they are not. So I'm probably going to be repeating this year after year like L1C. I need to get organized. John says we can transact on an island international waters off Lake Michigan if you're worried about the feds. The 5 O's. Tiger 727. Good morning. Happy New Year. JK Cards in the house says, Bo, how many Goodwill pallets did you get this year? Also, what was your biggest hit in 2024? Was it the Trout Auto? Well, that's an easy question. Yes, that was the biggest hit I've ever pulled out of anything ever. How many pallets did I get this year? Oh, I would say 8 or 9. Probably 8 or 9. I think I missed out on 1 or 2. I know I missed out on a couple, but one of those might have been last year. There was a stretch where I missed out on like 2 out of 3 pallets. And I think and I think the reason why I've been able to get them again is maybe they were dud pallets, or the person didn't realize how much crap they have to go through. Cause it's not like you're getting all of these great cards and there's a Trout 150 auto in there. There's going to be a lot of trash, literally. And then you take photos of throwing them in the trash can, and people on Twitter get enraged. How dare you throw away a bent up 91 Donruss? John says, Bo does eventually ship, sometimes in an envelope bigger than my mailbox. Zach says, I've been busy, so I haven't been consistent lately. Are we going to start another tracker to see if Bitcoin hits 100K again? Did we track it when it fell? Of course not. No. Low Roller Scratcher was nowhere to be found when Bitcoin dropped below 100,000. He only comes out after it hits the mark. 1 million is the new LRS standard. Mark says, what are your plans? Oh, we talked about that. Mine is the same as Mark's, falling asleep on the couch in bed by 10. John says, congrats to Zach. Zach says, for what? Leading the Frankie McDonald talent search. John says, I had vodka on New Year's Eve in 1984. I had all the vodka, haven't had vodka since. I had a similar thing with whiskey when I turned 21. Johnny M's in the house. Good morning. Made more profit selling Bitcoin in 2024 than I made in the last 5 years selling cards. Hoping to do even better in 2025. I like it. I have a cousin who he's taken his family on a nice big vacation from his Bitcoin earnings. Tiger727 says, I asked my wife if she's going to stay up to watch the ball drop. She said, why? I have been watching them drop for 25 years, but Zach quit drinking in 2005. Cold turkey, cigs and alcohol, same day. Decided to try drinking again for my bachelor party in 2010. Realized why I quit. Haven't since. Good for you. Cooter says, New Year's is amateur night. I only drink professionally. Amen. Amen. Mark says, my first vivid memory of New Year's Eve was New Year's 1975 as a 7-year-old. My grandparents getting hammered with their friends watching the ball drop. Love it. I don't think I have a New Year's memory. Even when I was like, I don't remember some of those early New Year's. Zach says, when you stop drinking in your 20s in Wisconsin, people look at you like you are an alien. Tiger727 says, good for you, Zach. I don't drink anymore either. I don't drink any less either. There you go. That's the way to be. In all seriousness, I have a couple here and there, and that's it for me, not into the excessive amounts. Zach says, Keating calls his pajama pants the party barn. John says, cool parents in 2024 most likely end up in probably the stuff that, of course, here's the thing. We say this every generation. Once you get to a certain age, you say, well, you can't get away with the stuff we got away with. Oh, it was better times back then. My parents said the same thing in 1999 as that we say in 2024. And, their parents were saying in 1973 and so on and so forth. It's just every generation says it. It's not like the good old days anymore. Zach says, being a parent isn't hard. Being a good parent is. Look around. There are more people shouldn't be parents that should. Procreating in America keeps Darwinism alive and well. John says, there's the flesh corsage. Sal Dougie's in the house. What's happening? Good morning. Happy New Year. Sal Dougie was in the house on Saturday at the Madison Card Show. We got a picture in one photo. I think we captured 7 Hobby Evolution viewers. In one photo. Sal Dougie, Offbeat All-Stars, East Coast Tom, Michael Renicky, Baseball Card Illustrated Bronco, Matt Like. Who else was in there? Max was obstructed by other people, but he would have made the photo if not for the obstruction. Unicorn Cupcake says, I bet he will never forget that corsage. But please refer to me as neighbor 23 from now on. Keating calls his member Cooper DeDong, the Great White Hope. She gave up on life and men after that night. And now trending flesh corsage. I work at home and get sent a check from afar on a weekly basis. Zach says, why isn't it temperature controlled? My storage unit? Because I don't want to pay for it. I don't want to pay temperature control for a bunch of 88 Donruss. That's why. Because it's just a bunch of junk that people on Twitter yell at me if I throw it away. Now they're going to yell at me because it's not temperature controlled. Philly Joe, good morning. Zach says, I work wherever I am that day. It doesn't stop based on my location. John says, I used my eBay credit and it's so frustrating. I ordered Bo Thompson granny panty envelope. So John's complaining about my number 10s. So I normally use on single card orders, I use the small number 6s. Well, I ran out of those last week. So I've got a bunch of number 10s. So I've been using my number 10s. So John is an old man screaming at the sky about my number 10 envelopes. John says, how old were you when you realized it's like Siberian cold in Wisconsin for 6 months out of the year? Not that old. Not that old. Red Light says, get a heated storage. I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay temperature control. I just don't go if it's cold. Simple as that. Johnny M says, I buy the 3-pocket card envelopes as they are perfect for lots up to 12 cards at 3-ounce ESE. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should try that. What are those called? What are those things called? Maybe I'll do that instead of the boxes. Trading card envelope kit. Or, oh, you were also saying you get 100 for $42. You were also talking about the relics. I don't know. Maybe I'll do one of those instead of boxes. I like the box. I need boxes, and I don't know. Zach says, I'm concerned. Why not get a temperature controlled unit for the state of Wisconsin? Because it costs more money. I don't want to spend. I'm paying $125. I don't want to spend. I think it's like $250 a month. Why should I protect my 88 Donruss from the cold? No, not going to do it. Storage places are the new mattress store. They are everywhere. Looking forward to February's outdoor Madison flea market, and that's what I want to do. We're going to have a garage sale, little flea market at my storage unit as soon as the weather gets warm, which might be in another 6 months. John says, good news is all those 90s Upper Deck cards will de-brick after being in a freezer for the winter. See, there's a bright side to that junk wax in the cold. John, the hockey stick holograms don't stick together. James in the house. What's going on? Good morning. John says, you are resisting organization because it seems like an insurmountable challenge. That is correct. I logged 200,000 cards in about 2 weeks, but that was easy. See that, and you were probably organized. See, I'm not. So like I've just got stacks of, just randomness, just piles of randomness, which is easy for listing in my eBay, but for like wanting to organize my Cubs, for organizing my collection, I want organization. For my eBay store, I don't need organization. I can just batch. Doesn't matter what the cards are. Multiples take more time, I seem to think. Bo never being organized creates better content. Gives me something to talk about every day. What do you need to do today? I need to get more organized. Bo organized is like skinny Oprah, not relatable. That's true. I remember working countdowns in radio. Hated it. Really? See, I never had to work. We never did anything for New Year's. Actually, we did a lot less. The week of New Year's was like year in review. Because the week between Christmas and New Year's, there's not shit going on. So like the news director, like his entire week was just the year in review, and he just do year in review stories. In the month of January, fire broke out at Farm King. And that's all we did. So we just we were on cruise control for New Year's. Certainly didn't do any radio countdown stuff. We just played, we would have done, if we did countdown stuff, it would have been syndicated stuff that was just automated at the radio station. Max says, sounds like I will need to have a few for the non-working SS class of the country tonight. Social Security class of the country tonight. Johnny M says, I stopped drinking in 1985 when I was 25. Finally realized I was allergic to booze. I kept breaking out in handcuffs. I'm like, oh yeah, it might have been the hop. Oh, I get where you're going. Mark, what's up? Good morning. Thanks for being on this morning. I'm into my last hour driving from Virginia to Florida with a minivan of vintage. Very nice. Last minute collection buy. Very cool. Very cool. Cooter says, noticed you listed a bunch of player lots. Is this another evolution? No. There's, in fact, check this out. Go to my eBay store. Let's see. See all details. Go here. Okay, now I'm glad you mentioned this, because now as I search, I need to here we go. Okay, so we're gonna share the screen. All right, so here's my eBay store. So I've had player lots quite some time, but it's just kind of, I'm going to list some player lots. I'm going to go back to singles. So categories, go down. Oh, where's the player lots? So it's way down here. All right, so here we go. So I got a lot of, Chipper Jones was the 50 count player lot that I had. Pete Rose, Clemente, Fernando Tatis Jr., and then Pudge Rodriguez. That's been in there for a while. Ken Griffey Jr. lots. Got a Steve Nash lot. Mike Piazza, Kyle Tucker, Ralph Kiner was added last night. Frank Thomas, some more Griffies. Of course, my Bowman lots. Mickey Mantle, David Robinson. So a little bit of everything. Got a big Sammy Sosa lot that's not selling. At this point, I think I might just auction this one and get 99 cents for it. Like, fuck it. So there you go. Not an evolution. The 3-pocket envelopes are still way more than street price, if I recall. Yeah, absolutely. Everything in the eBay, and just FYI, everything in the eBay shipping supply eBay store is much higher than anywhere else, even Amazon, Supply Hut, anywhere else you can get stuff. So, but use it or lose it. Use your coupon and get free shit. Yeah, you're paying for it in your subscription, but you might as well take advantage of that perk. So there you go. Tracy, good morning. Celebrating my wife's birthday today. Oh, very nice. Happy birthday. Bradley says, what's your resolution for 2025? I don't do New Year's resolutions, but I do have some goals. Business goals. I don't have any hobby goals. This year. Last year it was easy. Millionth Cub card. This year, get organized, but it's not going to happen because I'm not going to be committed to it. And that's why I don't do New Year's resolutions. Max says, people are actually using the storage units, unlike mattress stores. That's a good point. It's okay. You were comfortable being unorganized. Everybody thinks each card needs a SKU. That is true. There's just sometimes there's too much organization. I actually had this conversation with it was one of my newer dealers that I bought a lot of the vintage from on Saturday at the Madison Card Show. And his like dollar box was, there'd be a Michael Jordan followed by a Mark Zagunis purple, followed by a Brian Sipe rookie card, followed by a Moises Ballesteros pro debut serial numbered card, followed by another vintage, just a hodgepodge. And he's like, yeah, they're just not organized at all. And I'm like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want, because I'm looking to buy, football, basketball, baseball, and, it's a one-stop shop. And so we get to talking, and I've shared this several times here. Like, if I go to a bargain box and it's sorted by team, I usually walk by, or at the least I walk by, or with the least amount of effort, if I stop and look, I check the Cubs tag. If they're serial numbered, then I'll dig in. But if it's just a bunch of first Bowman paper and maybe a couple chromes and just base shit, I'm moving on. Because if I know what's in there for Cubs, if any other team's it's gonna be the same crap, I'm moving on. So I love the disorganization of bargain boxes. Sheena said, what's up, Sheena? Good morning. Madison Card Show was awesome. Love it. Next one, January 25th. Saturday, January 25th. Christian's here. What's happening? Good morning. John says, what was your go-to take a shit song when you were on radio? Well, it depends on which format. I'm going to have to Google long radio songs. I never worked on classic rock, so Freebird, Inagata-Davida, those American Pie, those were never. Most of the shit songs are classic rock. Man, I can't remember. They're like all classic rock songs. Basically, any like 4 to 5 minute song that was, in country, most country songs are like 2.5 to 3.5 minutes. So, the good thing about when I worked in radio, I worked in the computer era. So we didn't really have to worry about, everything was automated. Like I could play, I could program in if it's the morning and I got to take this raging dump. And, as long as it's not butting up to like talk spot, like where I have to go on and do something, if it's in the, middle of the hour, I can do like, I can play Christina Aguilera. I've got a bumper followed by Matchbox 20. And then, okay, so that gives me 8 minutes. So that's kind of, now when my first radio station I worked at, we had a little more, it was a computer, but it was like, basically it was the Apple II of computers. Digilink was the software we used, which I'm sure well, I can tell you for sure, even in 2000, it was outdated. Digilink. But yeah. So yeah, I didn't really have to worry about long music songs. It was just you had to be strategic with when you had to take a shit. And I know sometimes you can't control that, and it's like, so you're squeezing cheeks for a while. But yeah, I didn't really have to worry about that. And I guess a good thing, because top 40 in country, you don't have the advantage of long songs like classic rock stations. I'm picking up 5 months worth of purchases from Mike O today. Cannot wait. Very nice. Max says Madison was good, but need to give the Sheraton a couple non-union plumber numbers to get that fixed overnight. Yeah, well, I'm just hoping they get it fixed. Their next event is January 7th. So they're hustling to get it fixed by next week. I can tell you that they are not going to be calling any non-union plumbers. They are going to be tight. They are tight with their money. They also need to get some tables that don't weigh 100 pounds each and don't fold in half. But they do not spend. Working on a deal with Sewell as well. I hope to pick that up soon. Very nice. Jody's in the house. Good morning. Steve Nash might be the only Canadian I dislike. Wow. Harsh words for Steve Nash. I haven't touched a drink since October 1998. Wow, that's about the time I first touched a drink. Congrats. That's good. Unicorn Cupcake says, last time I stayed at the Sheraton, my room had an ant infestation. They didn't seem too concerned when I informed them when checking out. Won't be staying there again. John says, there's a huge difference in organizing your collection, which is the spirit of the conversation, and your inventory, which is now a different conversation. Johnny M says, as a top-rated seller, I save 10% off final value fees. That savings pays for my monthly store subscription. So what I buy with the monthly coupon is basically free or greatly reduced. Alice's Restaurant. But you can't play that in like June. Like on Thanksgiving, you can get away with it, or maybe around Thanksgiving. But I don't think you'll get away with Alice's Restaurant in June, or on a top 40 station for that matter. See, that's the good thing about Alice's Restaurant. You could play that on like Thanksgiving or Black Friday on a pop station or top 40 station because it's timely, but not in June. Cooter says, I will always stop at a table that has modern organized by team. Saves me a lot of time as I am only looking for giants. And yeah, I guess as if I was only shopping for my collection, I might be the same way, or I might grab a pie. It depends. I mean, even if because I've never been a person where I'm only looking for my collection. Like I've always, even when I was not doing this as a full-time gig, I was doing it as a side hustle. And like, that was the fun. Like the fun I had was I'm going to go dig through a bargain box and I'm going to buy 100 cards. 20 of those are going to be for my collection, and the 80 I'm going to sell to pay for the 20 that I bought for my collection. But I guess if I was in Cooter's mindset, I'd probably be the same way. Or if I was a set collector, I'd probably only, do you have these at least organized by set? Paul Carl's in the house. Good morning. Got to make it to 2 lives in a row, leaving 2024 with a bang. Here we go. Jordan says same. Max says should be fixed already. It might be. Who knows? The only thing I don't care when it gets fixed. As long as it's fixed by January 25th, we're all good. Save all your shits for Double Shot Tuesdays. Who has time to organize their collection? Apparently, I need to go to the Time Store. Let me know what the prices are at the Time Store. Paul Carl says, digging through unsorted cards at a booth or LCS is more fun than ripping. I agree. Don't get hosed and you still have a shot at getting some big hits. Absolutely. Examine Baseball. Good morning. Watched yesterday's show. Don't know how much you like to talk numbers. How long did it take you to get to 6 figures in gross eBay sales? Not long. It depends on, that's a difficult question to answer. Full time, like first year. But it's not like I just dropped what I was doing and started selling cards the next day. Like, I mean, it's been a build-up process. So, probably several years, but I wasn't committed for most of those years. So it's not really a question you can answer. I can answer. My current eBay store opened in 2015, but it was just random. Like I'd sell random shit every once in a while. And then I built up. And then 2016 and 2017, I did a little more. 2018, I was doing more. 2019, I was doing more. And then COVID hit. And then all of a sudden, it's like, this is a bigger side hustle. And by the end of 2020, I was treating it as a business. So, I mean, basically a year, I guess, would be, I guess committed. It took me that first year to build up to it. Inventory, it shows that is too sorted isn't great inventory to flip. Change my mind. Agree 100%. Because if it's sorted too much, it means it's been cherry picked. And every box that I've gone through that's sorted by team, well, I shouldn't say every. There's been one exception. The guy that I buy all the Bowman Draft and Bowman Chrome, he's got it sorted by team for the most. He did. I don't think he did when he was in Madison. I can't remember. I don't think he did. But every other show that I've been to where he's been set up, he's had it sorted by team. And like the first show, he had 35 first Bowman Jackson Holidays in the Orioles slot. Yes, please. And I got them for like a nickel or a dime a piece. And sold them for $10 to $15 a piece. There was 1 or 2 first Chrome Refractor Jackson Holidays, which were $40. And I think they were in a top loader, so I paid 75 cents for them. That's the only exception. Every other table that's been sorted by team, base, maybe a refractor here and there. Jordan says, I love sorting, but that's always seems like a daunting task. Yes. And I think that's why it is for me. It's like, which box do I start at? And then it's like, I don't have a spot. Oh, it's just such a pain. Max says you could list one card and get to 6 figures. Yeah. And I didn't even go into that. Yeah. You could list a few cards and get to 6 figures. Obviously lower end, you're going to have to, do the math, take 100,000, the fees. How many do you have to sell in a year? Lower end, doing it every day should be 1 calendar year easily. Gross for sure. Gross, yes, absolutely. You are welcome. Happy New Year, Orlando. John says, when will you evolve and put set break in all of your listing descriptions? There you go. Max says, team sometimes is okay, but if a dealer has quarter, 50 cent, dollar, exactly. The more it's separated, the more it's going to be no deal. Like if there's a quarter box, a 50-cent box, and a dollar box, the chances of you finding good deals minimal, especially like a 1, 3, 5, 10. It's like, because usually the $10 card should be in the $5 box, and the $5 card should be in the $3 box, and the $3 card should be in the dollar box, and the dollar box card should be in the quarter box. John says, "It is collects also non-climate controlled and closed for winter?" Yes. Haven't added anything to collects. It's still there. There's still cards in there. You can find me at 1 million Cubs. And that's a good bridge to what 2025 is going to bring. So I dabbled with some different things here in the fourth quarter with what I was looking into, and a couple things. Mark is here on his drive back from Virginia, and we talked about a couple of these things when we saw each other at the Spectacular. Was Whatnot and Anchor Store, and I don't have like a concrete plan. Nothing is concrete. That's why the show's called Hobby Evolution, because it's always evolving and changing. So in 2025, I've kind of stepped back from the Whatnot. And I don't think, now I signed up to be a seller, and it was a lot easier. Like when people like, oh, you can sign up, just sign up and go through. It's like nothing. Like you basically like type in your information and boom, you're approved, which may be why they've had so many issues with scammers and shit. So I think I'm going to take a step off that Whatnot ledge and probably not go down that road. Collects is always going to be a secondary. Like I'm going to have stuff on there if I have time and time to devote. Here's the problem, and I'm running into it. I tend to forget that I have items in collects, and I don't check it, and that's a problem when you're selling stuff. And actually, this is something that I was watching Commonwealth Picker. I think in yesterday's video was saying the same thing. He made some sales on a platform he forgot he had listed, and I know I'm on collects, but it's just out of sight, out of mind, because I'm not listing on there. It's just a secondary platform where, you know, I kind of utilize it to make, you know, it's basically a side hustle to my full-time job. You know, collects was never going to be something where I'm going to scale up and do big things with it. But as I go into 2025, I am going to make some changes. Not too many. And really no changes to what I'm doing currently. Actually, I'm going to run more auctions. And I think that's been something that I've been talking about here over the last month or so. I'm going to run more eBay auctions. I'm going to try to eventually get to 1,000 auctions a week. That's just kind of, you know, and out there, you know, it's not like I'm going to go into 2025 and all of a sudden but I want to be more organized and prep my auctions and curate them a little bit, which I have done on occasion. Sometimes I just get behind and I'm shipping. And it's like, I just don't have time to list auctions. So I want to at least have some prep and get them listed, maybe work a couple days in advance. Again, that may not come to fruition, but it's something I'm going to try to attain. And I think I've got 250 auctions live right now, and that's without trying. But a lot of that's going to be 99-cent auctions, and that's probably what a lot of my stuff will be. Tuesdays, I'm going to try to keep doing what I'm doing with a little better stuff, because we don't want to do a live show with a bunch of 99-cent no bid auctions. So auctions is going to be something that I'm going to continue doing. So really I'm not making any changes for 2025. I'm just going to make a bigger push. I'm going to make a bigger push for higher dollar items, and just try to get those numbers up. I want to do the same volume, but bring up my average sale price up. What else? I got a sneeze coming on. Auctions and probably lay back on Whatnot. Anchor Store may I'm very close. And actually, we can look at it since it is the last day of December. There it is. All right, let's close that window. Where's my store? So I can look at where I'm at listing wise. So again, and I talked about this yesterday, if you go into your eBay summary and scroll down to your promotional offers, and you may have to click more, you've got your list auction style free, and it shows you how many you've used for the month and how many you have remaining. Premium store subscription, 10,000 fixed price listings. You get 10,000. I have used 7,866. I have 2,134 remaining. You also get an additional 50,000 fixed price free insertions. I've used all 50,000. So I have 2,134, but you also have to remember, I can't list 2,134 for free today. Why? Because I have 639 ending. So it's really easy on the last day. So I know that what's 2,100 and what was the number? 2,134 minus 639. So I've got about 1,500 that I can use. I can list 1,500 fixed price listings today still for free. Now, do I want to just randomly list 1,500 shitty cards? No, because they'll probably not sell, or only a few sell. And, now I'm only at 500 next month. So I want to be strategic with what I'm listing and how I'm listing it. So there you go. Let's go here. Where are we at? Does your insurance cover burst pipes at shows? As you know, everyone gets sued. Yes. Max says, there's a reason why certain tables are always busy and others with the same inventory are not. People just need to buy better. There you go. Jordan says, I hate that $3 and $5 box. Yes. Unicorn Cupcake says, love that Bo takes 1 hour to get to the original topic of the show. We talked about it at the very beginning. The first 5 minutes, we touched on it. And then here we are. But if you've been paying attention at any point over the last 1,367 episodes, if I even get to the topic, it's usually an hour into the show. Zach says, I stepped away back. Did Bitcoin hit 100K? I'm sorry for being out of sorts. Well, let's check. Is Bitcoin at 100K? Let's see. Bitcoin. So if you bought at 100K, not good. 95,656. So it's close. Getting back up there. Donald says, I seen a 1 million Cubs in Whatnot. That's me. I bought a few things from Whatnot. I've never sold. Your Whatnot stance surprises me. Pleasantly surprised. Again, I may, in a couple months, I may say, hey, I've got a Whatnot sale going on tonight. I'm not saying I'm not going to do it, but I'm not committed to doing it. So I thought going into 2025, I would okay, I'm going to do Whatnot. But as I do these auctions, as I scale up my eBay and just get a better understanding of my numbers and where I want to be and how to get there. This is another thing where we evolve. And I think for up until recently, I think I would just kind of rested on my laurels where it's like, well, this is my business. I'm going to do it. And if I have a bad day, I have a bad day. And I'm getting to the point where it's like, well, I want to have really good days all the time. And I understand that you're not going to have good days all the time, but there are things you can do to have better days and make the bad days better and make the good days great. So just trying to focus on that. And I think for me, and this varies for different people. Some people can sell on 8 different platforms and have their success through that. I don't think I can. I don't think I'm built that way. I don't think my mindset works like that. I think I have to focus on one platform and be great on one platform as opposed to being average on 5 or 6 different platforms. Where are we at? Jordan says, John, it's not that bad. Zach says, in my experience, you find better deals with unorganized bargain boxes. You do. And here's why. And I can tell you from being a seller of unorganized bargain boxes, what happens is a lot of times, 2 different things for me. And this is how you find good deals in my unorganized bargain boxes. Actually, there's three there are three things. I just don't know what I'm putting in there. Football, basketball, I'm not too keen on. I know some stuff about football, basketball, but I'll slip some $20 and $50 cards in my quarter boxes because I just don't know how much they're worth. Second thing, and this is more common, is you put something in there that all of a sudden gets hot, like prospects. Maybe in Bowman, he was not a hot prospect when you made this bargain box back in April, and all of a sudden he just comes out of nowhere, and now that quarter card is a $10 card or a $5 card. That's pretty common. And then there's this is a case usually this is a bigger case for me where I'm inundated with Goodwill pallets and bulk collections that I buy. And it's like, I just need to move inventory. I'm going to put all this stuff in a quarter box. And where if I didn't have the amount of inventory, where if I wasn't flooded with inventory, I would have done a better job cherry picking. Okay, this is going to eBay. This is a dollar box card, etc. Where it's just like, this is all going into a quarter box because I know it'll move. I can sell it. People will. And I think I've got some boxes that have only seen one show that are like that. So between me now and the next show, I might go through there and do a little shopping in my own bargain boxes. Johnny M says Collects doesn't notify sellers when they make a sale. Yes, they do. But it's an email I don't check because it's an email specific to Collects. And I don't have it set. I have to manually go to the email. And you know how well I check my emails. John says, we have two opposing forces here, buyers who want bargains and dealers who want market price. Bargain box battle for your soul. Cooter says, don't half-ass Collects. Lack of attention there could still damage your brand. I agree. I probably should just take it down because I don't have, and it's kind of like Sport Lots. When I was treating it, there's a reason I don't sell on Sport Lots. And I went into Collects thinking, I'm going to treat this like Sport Lots because it's easier. But at the end of the day, the reason I quit, there's multiple reasons I quit selling on Sport Lots, but one of the main reasons was, I'm spending 10, 15 minutes pulling in a 40 card order for $10, whatever my price point is. So I probably should just, take it down and for 2025, rethink, how I want to approach it. John says, should we skip to 2026 if we're not evolving in 2025? We're evolving every day. Paul says, 2025 for me is going to be all about sourcing a ton more and going ham on Pokemon lots in addition to the sports ball lots. Been really killing it with 6 card lots for $6.99 shipped. Also 100 card lots. And I've shared this before, I've done so much better. And this is a very small sample size because I focus on singles. But our good friend Ken turned me on to small player lots back during COVID. He's like, yeah, and I was doing 8 card lots, and I put a few up on eBay last night, like 8 card lots for $5. I was doing really well with those, but it's just one of those times. It's like, I just don't want to spend the time on that. So if I have time and because I have a local buyer who buys, has a list of players. And so I'm always sorting those players out. And so now I have those boxes. I don't have to sort. So I've already got those boxes set aside. And it's like, if I want to do some player lots, I'll just pull from those boxes and list 8 card lots or 25 card lots or 50 card lots. And, the 8 card lots sell a lot faster than the 50 card lots. Where are we at? Thank you, Jordan. John says, Bo sneezes like a middle school girl. Zach says, no doubt in my mind that Bo's flesh corsage leaked a little on that stifled sneeze. Paul says, I'm at a 25 to 30% 90-day STR. So my plan is to auction my lots off after they've sat for 6 months. What Bo just said would make Joel Osteen proud. Motivation. Tracy says, is Collect's app working for everyone? I get an error trying to get to it yesterday and this morning. Let me see. Collects. Working for me. Working for me. Huh. And one of my shipments finally got released. Probably a month later. My stance on Whatnot is that it just doesn't seem to fit Bo's style. It's very fast-paced. No time to say where we at. It's a good point. I tend to talk a lot. Cooter says, so if lack of organization means better deals for buyers, doesn't that prove why you should focus on organization as a seller? No, because I am organized as a seller. My inventory is organized. Should I organize my upcoming inventory for auctions? Yes. For buy it now, I can just throw like, oh, here's a stack of cards and I can scan it and they go into tab 9A and boom, I don't have to do any sorting. Sorting is the bane of any seller's existence. So, and so is organization. So I am not going to organize and thrive in 25. Jordan says, John, Bo would kill at any live selling. He did well on those Thursday night live sells. Those were fun, those YouTube lives. Paul says, yeah, lots are only really viable at scale when it's automated with my software. Shameless plug. There you go. So yeah, those YouTube live sales were fun. I think I made $2,000 the first night just selling bulk. And that was something I wanted to revisit this winter, but just haven't got around to it. So maybe we do another, but I just don't know what I would do. And those actually took some time to get organized. There you go. Time. But to make a couple thousand in a night is good money. So that's kind of my thought process for what I'm going into in 2025. Cooter says, bullshit, your inventory is organized. Maybe your show inventory boxes, you were leaving money in the wire shelves. So I should say my listed inventory is organized. My show inventory is not organized. Yes, my random boxes in my card room completely disorganized. But all these cards organized. This hodgepodge of vintage football, it's organized. John says, so why give Whatnot a kickback if you can sell to your audience without them? Why deal with a different shipping mechanism? Real Nancy Kerrigan stuff here. Because it is a little easier. There's a bigger platform. I mean, the Whatnot platform would allow me an additional audience that I don't already have. Whatnot is also more streamlined, where the back end stuff is a lot easier, which is like huge. Like the eBay fees, I am more than willing to pay eBay fees and the eBay fees, but everything it allows me to do and to streamline and be efficient with my business is well worth the eBay fees. So the back end, because the back end for me is a pain in the ass. When I do YouTube sales, I probably spend, and depending on the amount, and I did 2 or 3 of those sales. I think the first one will take a little longer because you're getting your bearings, but it took me probably 2 hours just to print labels, to track down payment and ship labels. It took me 2 hours for 25 orders. That's just not efficient. And so and it may have, I may have been able to get that down to an hour and a half, cut 30 minutes out of it just because I knew what I was doing the second go around, but that's inefficient. And so Whatnot gives you those efficiencies and additional audience. So that's what is worth those fees. Jordan says, Happy New Year's, Unicorn Cupcake. Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's. I'm going to go do some shipping and then go make my delivery. I don't know if Mark is still driving. Mark, safe travels to Florida. I'm actually meeting up with Justin In a little bit, he bought, I don't know if he told you, but he bought a whole bunch of stuff at auction. We're meeting up over in Milwaukee this morning, dumping off a whole bunch of T206 for him and some other stuff that he bought. So going to do that. Stop in at 5 Star, say hello to Matt, check out their new shop in Oconomowoc, and having a good day. So enjoy your New Year's Eve. Be safe if you are going to go out and venture this evening. Please be safe. And if you're going to stay up till midnight, Happy New Year. I will not. New Year's, I'll celebrate somewhere. I'll celebrate New Year's. By the time I'm falling asleep, it'll be somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean, I would imagine. So I won't make it. There's an outside chance I can make it to East Coast New Year's, but I know I'm not going to make it to Central Time New Year's. I'm not going to be able to make it to New Year's here. Jordan says, yeah, maybe Paul, you can create a program that we can buy and have our buyers' info to print faster. There you go. Mark says, awesome. Say hi. I will do that. Alrighty. Hey, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, visit my eBay store, 99centcards.com, buy 7 or more items, not just cards, but items at regular price, and you'll save 25% off at checkout, 99centcards.com. Next round of auctions ending tomorrow night. So make sure to check out the auctions that are ending this week. There's about 250 auctions ending Wednesday night and Thursday night this week. I will fire up auctions. Oh shit, today's Tuesday, isn't it? So next Tuesday, we're going to do eBay auctions live. See, I should be more organized because now I've got to go find shit to put at auction for next week. Next Tuesday night, we resume eBay auctions live right here on this YouTube channel. So check those out and make sure to get those bids in now. 99centcards.com. Here's a good question. Yes, I will go live tomorrow and probably same time, 7-ish tomorrow morning. I'm not taking tomorrow off. It's just New Year's. So have a great day. Like and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow morning on Hobby Evolution.